Are you full blown into your New Year's resolution? Well, welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. In today's episode, we're going to review common mistakes that people make that end up resulting in not obtaining the goals, whatever that is in regards to diet and exercise. So if you're ready, listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind. Was hard. Yeah. For those of you who are new to our podcast, if you want to jump right into our topic of the day, please check out the show notes below so you can jump into the conversation. Also, please follow this podcast or subscribe. Make sure that notification bell is on. And if you love what you hear, we love 5-star ratings and reviews.
Yes.
All right. So I think I need to go to a pelvic doctor.
Why?
My pee just falls out.
Ooh, not good.
Like even like right now.
Oh, is that why you ran?
No, I always run.
Oh, okay.
Well, because I run because I think it's gonna come
fall
out.
Yeah, you got to. Because you're probably too tight.
Well, it's funny. I have a new client and she's going to a doctor for this, not because of that reason.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, she told me I was really tight.
Her pelvic floor.
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck, man.
You're probably too tight.
That seems like okay, here's my issue. Obviously, I need to do it and I'll do it. Actually, do I need to do it or do I just need to do pelvic floor exercises?
Well, you can work on breathing and then you can get a little wandy and do the wand.
No, it's a wand.
It's called intimate rose wand.
Ooh, sounds good.
It's shaped like a wave, I guess. I don't know, like a squiggly line. And it's got two ends that you can use one or the other. One is like a firmer and one is a less firm. And you put it up your hoo-ha and you lay back and you relax. And then you find points of tension. So almost like trigger points in your vagina. And when you find a trigger point, you hold it and try and breathe into it until it releases.
Is that what she does to you?
So it depends on the pelvic floor PT. So sometimes they'll do an internal and kind of do that and work on the tight points. Sometimes it's more exercise based where it's like, how do you move and how can we change that? But like for relaxation, it's more about like, just like right now, is it like tight? And you just like, if you like relax your jaw and relax your diaphragm, does it release?
No,
it doesn't. You don't feel like
no.
Is it already like released?
You guys are watching and relaxing my jaw.
Like just think about like,
it's
like think about a tight muscle and then it relaxes.
Well, if I squeeze,
no, we don't want to Kegel.
I don't know.
Oh, so how about like if you breathe, do you feel it?
Yeah, it comes down.
You can feel that. Where it goes,
it doesn't do that. It just goes.
Yeah, I would do that like at night and work on it, or like before, or I would do it after lifting. Because when I do it before lifting, then I'm like too like zen.
Yeah, it's just it's solely when I have to pee. Obviously,
urgency, incontinence.
Yeah, I've probably had it for a long time. When I was younger, like I'd have to rush. But I've been a dancer my whole life, fucking up my pelvic floor.
Yeah.
I remember at one point in one of my competition routines, I had to do a turn with a switch leap in the air, landing in the splits on the ground.
Ow.
So I can imagine that fucks up your pelvic floor.
Oh, I got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, you should see someone. I would be curious what you think, but yeah, I really.
Well, and I know Melissa saw someone right here. My issue with going to any PT is like the time commitment.
Yes,
it's annoying
because it's like an hour at least.
Like, and they're like, come 3 days a week, and I'm like, no. I'm not going to do anything 3 days a week other than work.
Well, they're kind of a different PT in a way. So like I've never gone 3 days a week. It was always like a 3-week follow-up or something like that. Yeah.
I can deal with
it. It's just the appointments are longer than PT.
Yeah.
But it's not a 3 time. It's not like a hip replacement.
Yeah. That's like what I'm thinking.
Labral tear. No. Especially with the labral tear. Because that could be contributing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh, the other day I was doing my lower body workout on Monday and I could feel my psoas was like, what the fuck?
Have you been using your thingy yet?
My what?
My
so right?
No, the athlete thing.
Oh yeah,
the freak athlete. Did you get it figured out?
Done. Well, Mark and I are going. We're literally spending time on Saturday to watch the tutorials because there's so many knobs.
I know.
showed you.
I know.
I did Nordics on
Okay,
it,
okay.
and I did decline sit-ups.
Okay.
And then I just did anchored sit-ups on it, which you don't have to move anything. Yeah, it's been good.
Okay.
He did the leg extensions on
Okay.
it. And then I have him doing hypers on it.
Okay.
So that's good shit, man.
All right.
I'm happy to work out at home. Yesterday I did a gallery test.
What is that?
So gallery test if you have any cancer cells in your bloodstream.
Oh.
So I get it through John Hancock Vitality.
Of course.
Sponsor us.
I know.
Sponsor
me.
Yeah. And they do Pronovo, which is the full MRI, but I found a better one.
Okay.
So she came here, the lady, and took 2 vials of blood. And I probably sat there for like maybe a minute. And I was like, I look over, and then because I never look when they're taking blood, and there's 2 vials. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, that all just came out of me. She goes, it was literally like gushing out of you. And I'm like, is that normal? She's like, it's healthy. I'm like,
okay, good.
Cool. And it was 2 big vials. And they'll check if I have any sort of cancer.
Really?
So, well, maybe there's like certain ones.
Yeah.
In my body. Then I want to do the full body MRI. Simon Med does Simon 1, and it shows you everything.
Yeah.
So labral tear, my stupid foot, if I have cancer somewhere,
you still haven't gotten your foot checked out, have you?
No. My dog died 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Self-care is your priority.
Yes. Like so if I get that, I probably don't need the x-ray, even though they're keeping like, you have an x-ray like prescribed to you, come to our office. But yeah, we'll see.
Is it through Simon Med, the x-ray? Because then you could just do it at the same time.
That's what I was thinking. But then the MRI will show if I have a correct anyways. Yeah. We'll have to ask. I was going to call and ask them.
One of my clients got a full body MRI. She's from Canada, and they went to, I think, Chicago to do it. Oh, so cool. And so then they found lumps on her, I think in her throat. So then they had to do a biopsy, and now she's okay though. Yeah. But she was like, she gave it to her husband as a gift. So that way she could get it too. And I was like, all right, well, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. They say that you're going to see a lot of scary things. Most of them are nothing.
That's it.
Yeah. But
she sent me all of it. I was like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
It's freaky. So, do you want to tell them? Oh, you already told about O's. Oh, I got to see so the baby. She goes,
I know. Oh! I was like, I know she did it. I was like, I'm dead. That's it. Yeah. I have nothing else to live for anymore.
No, listen. And you're just gonna have like decades of that, of just new things.
I know. Decades. That's everything. Because even now, today, I was like, we'll work on our ahs. So I'm like trying to do like ah.
That one's probably harder.
Yeah.
Her
yeah. So it's supposed to be ooh, ah, and
I'm like Donald Trump over here with my microphone. So
yeah, we'll do that. Michael's off work today because apparently there's snow in Amarillo. I was like, that's nice. I know. Like, so I don't know why that impacts you.
Property in Arizona. Like, it's like snow in Amarillo.
It's bad.
Oh, is it?
Because they don't have like a system of like snow, like in Flagstaff, there's a system of snow, but there's not like a lot of pavers or whatever they're called, snowplow things. Yeah. And so the streets just get all fucked, and it's just not a good.
People in Texas, for our Texas friends.
So they drive. Their speed limits sometimes are like 75, 80 or something.
I love that.
I know, me too.
But anytime I'm like, someone cuts me off or is going super slow or is driving like a jerk, I'll always look at the license plate.
Texas.
You know what? It's data. It's statistics.
It's just research.
It's just research. So,
what are you doing this weekend besides playing with your freak athlete thing?
Nothing. I think on Saturday we'll watch. No, it's college football's tomorrow. I don't know.
On Friday? Today's Thursday.
There's college football championship game tonight and tomorrow.
Oh.
And so I was like, we'll watch college football on Saturday. And no, because I'm in this new thing of, if we're going to go out and like sit and watch football, like we're going to ride our bikes there or walk there.
Oh, so are you guys not going to Santisi's anymore then?
Oh, we only go once.
Oh,
the first.
Okay.
Game.
I thought you guys went there every Sunday.
Oh, no.
Oh,
God, no. I don't like feeling like shit on Monday.
Yeah.
And like Santisi's is a full commitment, full send.
Okay.
We went and rode our bikes this weekend. So we walked to Oso, got Harlem's cookie, walked back. So that's 3.5 miles. or 3.26. Then we did a bunch of work, got on our bikes, and rode to the Biltmore.
Oh,
did you see my post?
probably.
They have they redid their clubhouse for the golf course, and it's like open to the public.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
Really?
I'll show you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you the video. Yeah, and we like the food was good.
Oh, nice.
And then we rode our bikes to a new little sports bar that actually was really nice on 16th Street in Northern, where that Gallagher's used to be across.
Oh, Gallagher's isn't there anymore?
It's RTL Sullivan's, and they put a bunch of new TVs. And then, yeah, we just rode our bikes. It's my new thing.
All right.
You know,
well, I would too.
Yeah, just get some movement in.
It's nice out right now.
It's so nice. I know. I feel so bad for everyone.
I know. We're like, it's so nice out.
And you're like, it's 80. Well, my client's here on a golf trip, and I told him we were talking yesterday, and I said, it's freaking freezing right now. And then now today it's like perfect. So he's happy.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Happy golfing.
We love happy golfing. We love happy people because they're meeting their goals. So today we are going to give you a list of common mistakes that people make with their New Year's resolutions. I would say this is anytime we're setting a new goal. So I really want you guys to listen in on this. It's going to be super helpful. Anytime we have knowledge about something, we're more aware of when it's happening, right? And so this list may seem like, well, that's not me or whatever. However, if it's starting to happen in your life, you're going to have the knowledge and awareness that is a common mistake. So I think you did a good job with this one.
Well, this episode came from we were talking about eat this, not that. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was like, what if we did I had this goal, but this is my outcome. Here's my solution. So however you want to reframe that for eat this, not that. But
this is the behavior. Here's your solution.
Yeah. And so because a lot of people make resolutions in that 2025 or any new year.
Right.
And it's always usually there's a nutrition, a mindset, or an exercise piece, which that's what we do. But most of the time they're set on unrealistic standards, unrealistic timelines. And then as well as the habits became not sustainable either. So it's I want to go to the gym every day.
Right.
It's well, you don't even go to the gym once.
Right. Right.
When are we going to go every day?
I like that you said unrealistic standards because sometimes it's not even your standard. You just chose a program.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, well, I like what, she looks like and this and that person has unrealistic standards or their life is unrealistic when compared to your own.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good way of putting it.
There's this trainer right now. One of my old clients sent her to me and she's promoting working out 210 minutes a day. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Junk.
How? Why?
Junk volume.
Yes.
It's at a certain point, your muscle is fatigued and your glycogen stores shut up. I fucking hate people.
I just said I feel bad for whoever believes that.
Well, and common mistake number 1, stop following people. Get curious about why that person needs to work out 210 exact minutes per day.
Yeah.
And she's a trainer. We don't work out like that. And maybe, we don't show our butts off every day, but we're fucking healthy as shit and fit. So maybe common mistake number 1, don't believe everything you see. That wasn't on our notes.
Or common mistake number 1, there is no plan. It's like you said, just a cherry pick willy-nilly. Oh, this apple looks good. It's well, maybe, or it's tainted.
The other part is we don't pay attention to the step-by-step, right? Yeah. So how the step-by-step, the daily stuff, the sustainable habits, right? We either aren't consistent with those or we are not paying attention to them. So then we don't have any awareness of how we got there. Right. Maybe you do get there, but most of the time that's not the truth. Habits are completely unsustainable or we don't, I want to say, appreciate those habits as progress. Yeah. And then either one's going to lead us to failure, whether the habits are unsustainable or we don't appreciate the habits. Right. So we want to lay that foundation.
Yes. Let's go into the exercise part. So we have exercise and nutrition for this.
Okay.
So for the first one, like I said, I'm going to exercise every day.
Yeah.
For the new year. Usually the outcome becomes they're not exercising at all because it's too much. So I would say recognize I set the goal of I'm going to exercise every day. Obviously that's not working for me. I'm going to look at my schedule and see when I can.
Mm-hmm.
So like you were talking about, you and Mark are going for bike rides on the weekends. Count that as exercise.
Right.
So if you weren't working out at the gym, so we either can reframe what we think is exercise
Mm-hmm.
or say, okay, instead of sitting and watching in TV at night and scrolling on my phone, I will take 5 minutes to go for a walk around the block.
Yeah.
And that's the exercise, and I can schedule it.
Mm-hmm. I want to add to that, because what we need to also pay attention to is, why am I, or what is the urge to not do it if I can't do it every day?
Oh,
You
like, why
know,
is it all or nothing?
right.
Yeah.
Like, get curious about that. Why am I telling myself if I can't do this every day, this specific way, kind of like we talked about with that trainer, like, why is my intention to not,
Right.
you know? And that usually is going to come into, well, I don't want to look like a failure. I don't want to look like I can't do it. I don't want to da, 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 da. And beginning to pay attention to, well, why?
Yeah.
Why do I do that?
Or I'd say even lack of knowledge too.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I do that? Well, if I don't work out every day, then it's not worth it. And it's like, is that actually true?
Right. No, I see that often. It's like, oh, well, it's just not worth it. And I'm like, okay, so hold on, hold the phone. So you're telling me that you have to do it 7 days for it to be worth it. And if you can't, you don't do it at all.
Right.
And is that also worth it? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Like, 3 days is more than the 0 days you're doing. So
yeah,
it's just, yeah. So pay attention to the urge of, well, I can't, pay attention to the rigidity of what you're doing. And then, very simple, look at your schedule.
Yeah.
What do we know we absolutely can do on our worst day or our worst week? I like to say week, because we don't even look at exercise day to day. It's
I look
over
at a week. Yeah.
So good.
And then also, like I said, consider what is exercise. So for example, if you're already going and bike riding, count that and say, okay, I am already doing one day. Maybe I schedule the second day.
Yeah.
Or even like, for example, like the clients who live up north, sometimes they go snowshoeing or something like that, or even shoveling their driveway.
Yes. No, I have clients who will do, like, when the leaves fall, they'll have bags and bags of like leaves that they cleaned up. Like, I didn't get a workout in today. So I love this idea of reconsidering what exercise is. Like, let's just change it to movement. Maybe that's the key.
Right.
I want to have some movement 7 days a week. Great. Movement's a lot of things. Movement's having a dance party with my dog in the kitchen, which we do. You've seen her. She's a great dancer. Yeah. It's in my videos.
She's very nimble.
She's so chunky. She's so chunky. So that is that. So again, the goal of, I want to work out every single day. We're going to reconsider what working out is. Reframe, I want to have movement every day. I think that's, walking, whatever. Look at your week. What can you absolutely, you can do at a minimum. If you set minimums, guess what? You can exceed them. Yay. You set maximums. Guess what? You'll know where to go.
Yes.
Where to go, but down. And then reconsider and get curious to the urge to completely stop.
Okay.
Good?
Yep.
You're good on that one?
Yep.
Number 2, I'm going to try a new class. So that's a decent goal.
I agree.
Okay. Now, for me, as someone who's taught group fitness, there is a lot of fear.
Yes.
Right. There is a lot of, unfortunately, not great coaching in this situation. But what I think is easiest for this person is, if you have fear going in, either have a friend come with you or see what your friends are doing. Because then they'll already have like the experience with doing it, and you can kind of gauge, like, is that for me? Is it not for me? So like, if you're the person who's not worked out ever and your friend does F45, you're probably going to be like, that sounds like a little too much for me.
Yeah.
Whereas
Zumba,
your friend does Zumba.
Yeah.
You're like, I could probably
usually Zumba's
jump
an easy
around.
Buy-in.
Yeah. I love Zumba. I used to teach Zumba.
Did you really?
Duh. I taught Zumba for like 10 years.
Did you really?
Yeah. I want to say I stopped. I stopped when we were dating. Were we already married?
Were you coaching at F45 and doing Zumba too? Or F45 was after?
F45, I don't know. I think it was after.
Okay.
I taught at Anytime Fitness and Mountainside Fitness.
Oh
and at this private studio.
Nice. I would say, yeah. So mine is, I always like for clients who are like fear of a gym or fear of a class, maybe they already go to the gym, is get on the treadmill and just watch, right? Get comfortable being in that environment. So you're not necessarily in it, but like going on the treadmill just to walk is good enough.
Absolutely.
Right. So that usually, I always like that one for fear of a new class. If I want to try a class, but I'm not really sure, watch the class at that time, because now you're creating that consistency of going at that time and seeing if you want, or even like fear of going into the gym at the, like, I want to try strength training, right? And the dumbbells. Okay, watch. Yeah. But another thing I also like too is to go and talk to the instructor.
Right.
Like ask them about it. Like, so for, I can imagine if someone came up to you for your Zumba class and was like, yeah, I'm just kind of scared to try it. You'd be like, oh, come on. And then every time you went in that gym, you'd be like, Amanda, I see you. Are you coming? And that creates like the job.
And I'll be like, stand behind her.
Yes.
She'll be super helpful.
Yes. The job of the instructor is to educate and make comfortable.
I want to add something to that is if it feels salesy, don't.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I can see people just, I remember like, I mean, at 45, they had to hit their numbers
of getting people. How would you get people in though? Like
memberships, so many memberships per month.
Oh, really?
Yes. We got like, don't we got commission off of that.
That'd be hard.
Yeah.
Cause then like, how do you get new people in? Or it's hopefully everybody brings a friend and then you sell the friend.
Yeah. So they'll do different things like Saturday classes. I believe some of them you can bring someone in and yeah. So if it feels salesy, just pay attention to that because you want an instructor who really is listening to you. The other thing on this is a lot of gyms too will offer a couple of free personal training sessions. Now, yes, if you're someone who has a hard time saying no, that might be hard for you, but that is a part of your membership and they will help you. Yeah. And you can, say, listen, I want to really learn about the equipment. I want to walk me through these things and take advantage. Yeah. Take advantage of that. And then of course most of the time you can take a tour or watch a class. Usually your first class is free. Take advantage of that. If the first class is free, this is what I want you to do. Take that first class and see how much they are attuned to your needs. Yeah. Your regressions, progressions, your form. How are they explaining things? Yeah. Because F45 is very hard to follow, even though it's on the screen. And it's still hard to follow. Quick. It's super quick. And people are like, oh, yeah. Especially, and fucking show up 15 minutes early if it's your first class so we can explain that shit to you. I hated that. People will be like, I'm here, it's my first class. I'm like, well, we're already in the motherfucking warm up. Now you have no idea what's going on. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah. But then I would feel like, okay, let me help you. Anyway. I would say with that too, of like the classes, look how the trainers interact with the participants. Oh yeah. Right. So like if everybody's in there, they like have this like game face on and then everybody leaves afterwards. That's probably the like environment or the culture that's cultivated. If everybody's coming in, they're smiling, they're laughing, and then they're staying a little bit longer and lingering and kind of having little clicks happening. That means it's an engaging environment and that's probably more supportive. It's where I met Jordan and Dustin. Yeah. So and Andrew. I don't know if you met Andrew. He was at the party. All right. I'm going to lose weight by doing exercise. Workout. Yes. And then they don't lose weight. No. So that's usually the outcome. Yes. They don't lose weight. Yeah. Biggest problem here is that weight loss doesn't elicit. Exercise doesn't elicit weight loss. Yes. That. I would say it doesn't, not necessarily the weight loss, but maybe your body composition change too. So this is where looking at different, I always tell clients, you have a puzzle and everything is a piece of this puzzle. So if I'm only looking at weight loss, that's just a piece, you're missing the bigger picture. Right. And all of these pieces make that picture. So if I can have other measurements of changes, because ultimately weight loss is a change in my body. Right. And we can say, okay, let's look at, has your body changed in how it looks?
from a picture standpoint. So maybe we have pictures, or maybe even we have like lifestyle pictures. So you're not necessarily doing like the poses for in your undies and bra. Yeah. But we're seeing like, okay, from 2 months ago, this is what my face looked like in this picture. And now it looks different in this picture. That's a change that doesn't necessarily equate to weight loss. We can also do measurements. That's another one.
Right.
But I think really understanding what exercise brings to the table as opposed to what it doesn't is important in that aspect.
Well, and I think, I mean, it's exactly what you're saying, but it's really setting people up for failure. And this idea that I can work out
my nutrition.
Yeah. And we see it all of the time in our Facebook group. And we're just like, look, that belly fat, you can do 10,000 crunches. You might see a bit of a change, but until you change your diet, then, you know, you're going to just feel like you've failed. Right. So the mistake is thinking, like you're saying, that one puzzle piece is going to help the weight loss when really, I mean, your body is a very, I mean, there's so many different aspects of it, because not only just nutrition, but if you think about your sleep, your stress, like there's so many other pieces to the puzzle that we want people to pay attention to, and really having like educating yourself. So say that you have started this process already and you're not seeing any changes in your body. I would, you know, obviously if you're listening to this, say, okay, let me see, let me educate myself on what actually elicits weight loss, right? There's plenty of episodes we have on that. Come back to the drawing board. That doesn't mean to stop exercise. That just means we're reframing what exercise means to us.
Yes. So. Well, and going on that, reframing what exercise means to you is it can mean so many other things. Like it makes me feel strong. Like if I do maybe zone 2 cardio or something like that, I feel like I can walk up the stairs at work easily, where I'm not as winded when I get to my desk. I feel like I can go from 5 pounds to 15 pounds within a month. That's really beneficial
on your weights.
Yeah. That has nothing to do with weight loss.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the mistake is, you know, one variable is going to make the change. Unfortunately, that is not true, and especially around weight loss. So we need to add in those other variables to achieve that goal. Yep. Next one.
I want to get stronger.
Yes.
Such a general statement.
Yeah. Well, it's a general statement. Yeah. It can sound like I want to put on more muscle. Yeah. I want to, you know, be able to lift X amount, whatever that is. Now, yes, one of the things we haven't even touched on is when we are setting goals, we want to get pretty specific. Yeah. You know, like I want to lose weight. Great. Cut off your leg.
Yeah.
I mean,
do your water fast.
You're 7. Gross. Ugh. I want to, you know, be able to fit in a size 6 jean by April 1st. That's more specific. Don't set stupid goals like that, but it's fine.
Okay.
You can fit size 6. Size 6 is a great size.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting stronger, right, is So I have clients ask me this a lot. I want to get stronger. I want to develop my muscle. I just had this conversation with one of my favorite clients, and she's like, well, I want to develop muscle and I want to like lose fat. And I'm like, okay, well, your calorie deficit that you're in right now, that we've chose to be in, is really muscle preservation more than it is going to be
muscle addition.
Correct. And, you know, the protein, the strength training, that is going to be what helps to preserve muscle. And just not having that education of I want to get stronger. She could definitely get stronger in her lifts, but it's much more difficult in a calorie deficit. Yeah. So that was something I had to educate her on. Secondly, people think, oh, well, I'm lifting weights, right? So this is a good and bad thing that's happening right now, because there is such an emphasis on strength training, but we're not teaching it in the proper way. Right.
We're doing cardio with weights still.
Correct. We're still doing cardio with weights. So what does that mean? What does that mean, Amanda?
It means that you're not resting, that you're not tracking your progress. So like, for example, each time you go to the gym, ideally there is an increase in weight.
In one of the exercises, maybe.
Yeah.
For me, that's
or maybe an increase in the challenge of it, right? Yes. So it might go from squat to Bulgarian split squat. That's harder, but I had to start with squats. But what I'm seeing is that we're not feeling stronger because you're not tracking the weight that you're using. So you don't even know if you are stronger.
You're just choosing the same weight every time.
The same weight every time. And or not remembering and just going, I think I did 15s. And so now you're not even saying like, okay, I'm going to challenge myself and build myself. Then on top of that, with doing cardio with weights. So we're not resting. We're just kind of lifting and doing multi movement exercises and calling that, like, think of CrossFit is always a good example. Like you're going from a deadlift to a box jump to a pull up.
Right.
Like, and you're doing that 21 and then you're going into a 15 and then you're going into a 9. Yeah. So there's no rest. Whereas if we were strength training to break that up, you would do like 21 of the deadlift, rest, 15 of the deadlift, rest, 9 of the deadlift, rest. Then we're going to go to, box jumps. Okay. 20, same thing. That is more of a strength training protocol. Right. If we're going to equate it to something like that.
Well, and the other thing, and the most important thing is you've got to create the stress on your body. Yeah. And that looks like what you're taking a poop. I had to explain this the other day to a client. I was like, so I have you at 8 to 12 reps. You're always going to start at 8. Yeah. Always going to start at 8. We're going to find a challenging weight at 6, 7, or 8 reps. We're doing the face and we're a little bit shaky and it might feel uncomfortable. You probably still have 1 or 2 reps in the tank. Right. You've probably never pushed yourself to know that you have 1 to 2 reps in the tank, but that's what I want. And that's what I fear with some clients when they're not seeing progress, because we are online coaches, is that they're not pushing themselves enough. And if I would take them through a workout versus them doing it on their own, right, it would be, they would feel a level of intensity that is much different. Yeah.
I always tell, to combat that for the virtual clients that I work with, I always say, like, if we're going to do a heavy set, I said, just go up, because you'll grab it and go, oh, fuck. When you hear the, oh, fuck, I want you to try it. And then we'll drop back down. But you need to know what, oh, fuck feels like compared to like,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I did that the other day. What was I doing? I grabbed the 35-pound kettlebell for
windmills or something.
So, something that was not, I think I ended up 25 pounds. Yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck. That's great. Yes. That's a good one.
Use the fuck.
Or for our clients, virtual clients, like my client, Michaela, the other day she always sends me form videos and I fucking love it. Cause then I was like, holy shit, look at the weight and the form and she's crushing it. Yeah. I was like, holy cow. And people forget, like, in our app, in the exercise itself, there's a comment bubble. In that comment bubble, there is a camera icon. Oh, yes. You can just send a video in the comments in the exercise.
Thank you.
Please, if you are a client listening, if you feel like you're not seeing a ton of progress in your lifts, send us a form video. Show us what it looks like to go through that entire set. And maybe I also want to see your first set and your last set. Do we like that?
Yeah.
First set, last set.
Yeah, I don't need to see the middle set.
Yeah. First set and last set.
Yep.
Because if you come to our house, I'm looking like I'm going to drop drop something on my head. No, maybe not that bad.
Well, I'm looking like, whoo.
Yeah. Like sometimes I'm like, well, when I do videos, I'm like,
I know. You know what's so funny? When I do my YouTube videos, I have to kind of do them differently now, because if I do the YouTube video when I'm training, I have to, I get too out of breath to talk.
Oh yeah.
So I have to do the workout, then go back and do like, okay, I'll blah, blah, blah.
Like, longer rest. Speaking of,
okay.
Rest, right?
So this is for the overtrainers, like the people who got to get after it all the time.
Yep.
And their goal might be like, I'm just going to take more like recovery, but then they go into the sauna, the cold plunge or something like that. And they're scared of losing their gains, or doing less like means that they're not keeping up with it. So go ahead.
I kind of want to just separate this into two, because people don't realize that we have a natural recovery system in our body. And if we just do that correctly, that
we don't need the sauna.
We don't need the sauna, the cold plunge, the fucking whatever they're pushing out there. I do love a red light.
That's okay though, but like it's not necessary.
Correct. And people are going to come after us for that. They're biohacks, but if you're a normal ass person that is not like an athlete that's trying to be did you watch the Guy that won't die. Okay. If you're not trying to be a guy that doesn't die, like that's just sleep, rest
Eat
times,
enough.
eat enough, rest times in your workouts, rest between workouts, figuring out a workout plan that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
So if you don't have great recovery right now, maybe not working out 5 days a week.
Well, or I'll see, okay, I'm going to take and I used to do this. So no shame.
I want to just say real quick though, what I'm talking about and what you're talking about are two different things, right? So I'm talking about people who are using all these hacks to recover.
Yeah.
Focus on sleep, stress management,
the
stuff like
minimums.
That. Yeah. You're talking about the pushers, the go-getters. They're like, okay, my goal, I'm going to focus on rest and recovery.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean, so like what I used to do is like, I'm going to take a rest day, but I'm going to core power yoga, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not rest and recovery. Or I'm going to take a rest day, but I'm going to do like a spin class or a reformer Pilates class.
Oh yeah.
Like you can say, well, it's not as intense as my workout. Right. I know, but it's not helping.
No, it's not.
So just the harder thing, this is like I tell my clients who have this mindset, the harder thing for you to do is doing like nothing or doing the less.
Correct.
Or doing the walking or the mobility. Let's do the harder thing because you thrive off of doing the harder thing, as opposed to the easy thing is for you to go to the spin class.
Correct.
That's fine. Then go to the spin class, but now you're doing the easy thing. That's not challenging what your intention was for this.
Right. No, I think that's actually a good point. It was like, it feels easy. It feels familiar. It feels comfortable for you to push yourself into the ground. If you're trying to achieve a goal, it's usually something that you're not already doing.
Yes.
And goals usually create discomfort.
Yeah.
Right. There's probably no goal I've ever achieved that was easy.
Nope. And why do you need to work out every day?
Right.
Too. What does that mean?
Coming back to what is the mindset of the first gal we were talking about, who's not working out every day and wanting to work out every day and then not working out because they couldn't work out 7 days. And the gal who's like, no, I must, because they will. That's a different mindset, but also needs the same amount of curiosity of why.
Yep.
So good.
Okay.
Good. Nutrition. Woo. So if you're someone out there who's like, okay, I am going to eat healthier. I'm going to eat cleaner. Yes. Clean queen. I'm going to cut out processed foods. Common mistakes with this is we go way, way, way to the extreme. I think it's like, I'm going to cut out my sugars. I'm going to cut out my carbs. I'm going to cut out my fats. I'm not going to drink water. I'm not gonna, like, I love it. I love the like blanket. I'm going to cut out all my sugars and I'm going to not have carbs. And it's this new thing. Sugars, carbs, like
fat, everything.
Fat. I'm going to intermittent fast. What ends up happening, right, is number one, you are trying to do way too much at once.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're trying to be healthier, we also need to look at health from like a mindset perspective. If I'm cutting a bunch of stuff out of my diet, then that's not healthy by any means.
No.
Right. And health really does come from our food. And so we want to be adding to our diet.
Yes.
Right. So first things first is really be careful of like cutting out too much and becoming this like clean queen. We're going to use that.
I see this a lot with the Whole30. Like people are just going to do Whole30.
Right.
And I'm like, that's such an investment of like products because you can only have the certain things, so then they totally revamp their product. I'm like, that's a lot of grocery money. Where instead what you can do is like you're saying, just what can we add? What colors can we add? So don't think of like totally revamping and cutting out stuff. Turn that around and go add, because most of the time what happens is I'm going to cut out this, I'm going to cut out that. And it's like, well, how can you cut out carbs on a weekend when you're going out and you guys go to Mexican food?
Right.
Like that's all carbs essentially. So,
or, they think, again, this comes back to education of like, I'm eating so clean. And they're just buying a bunch of like low fat processed junk food, which
if it comes in a box or a bag, then it's processed.
Right. If it processed food, you got to look at how far removed from the original food that thing is. So a Cheez-It, I'm sorry to tell you,
it's
not cheese. It's not.
What's it made out of?
Deliciousness.
Yes. Cheez-Its are pretty good.
They're fucking delicious.
Yeah.
I love it. I think I told you in high school, it was a Diet Coke and Cheez-Its was like my breakfast.
Oh God.
That's
okay. Mine, I think, was Eggo waffles. butter and syrup.
Well, I had to go to cheer at like 6 a.m. every day.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
cheer, get ready. Maybe I did have something for breakfast. Oh no, when I started driving, I would just go to like McDonald's. Yeah. And get an egg McMuffin. I'm an egg McMuffin girly.
Yeah.
So be careful of that. Someone who is also in that like clean, extreme clean queen. Like you said with Whole30, I was thinking to, am I willing to pay for this investment? I think of that Optavia that people do. Now, this is not clean. Optavia is not clean by any means. It's absolutely
very processed
garbage. However, it's like, it's $400 a month. And I had a gal tell me she couldn't afford our program, but she was doing Optavia. I was like, okay. What is the investment on what this change that I'm doing? Right. Mm-hmm. So like you're talking Whole30 and having to buy certain foods.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of the different programs that you have to do that, but that's also another thing, like financially.
Yeah.
Because if I can just add some, steamables from the frozen section to my meal.
Or just an apple.
Right? You go to a farmer's market and get them, from your peeps around the block.
Yeah.
That's going to be something to look at too, because we're really eager at the beginning of the year. And we think, I'm going to invest all this time and money. And yes, you should invest in yourself.
Yeah.
The investment should look a bit different and be a bit more balanced. But again, if it does require you to like buy certain special foods, like how long are you going to do that? Especially if you have a family.
Correct.
Like, are you going to give your kids your fake ass
Optavias, your treats? I think they're called treats or tricks or something like that.
I don't know, tricks.
Probably. Either way.
Yeah.
Anyway. What we're missing from all of that of taking out food is the protein, because I'll see people are like, I'm just going to eat more protein. Mm-hmm. And then what they do is they're not really sure what protein is. Yes. So like you talked about, I think it was in the other episode of the trail mix, someone brought that and was like, oh, I'm going to eat all that. It's like, actually trail mix is mostly fats because it's all nuts. And actually there's a lot less protein in that handful than there are fats. And you probably went over your calories at that point. Maybe that's why we're gaining weight. So I always suggest, like, if you don't know what protein is, it's meat. Like whatever a meat product is, that counts as protein. Everything else is something else.
Don't try animal product.
Yes. Like don't try and
dairy is protein.
Yes. Don't try and finagle something else that's not an animal product to be it, because that's just going to be the easiest in your mind when you're learning how to do this.
Yes.
Now, if you want to level up to make sure you're getting enough protein, so we can either use like hand portions. So am I getting at least a palm sized portion of protein at each meal? Or if I'm going to track calories, you can just track protein. You don't have to track every freaking macro. So how much meat am I going to weigh it, or you can measure it if you want to do it that way and see how much you're having. Then from there, you would increase, whether that's 2 bites or 10 grams or something like that. So start simple there.
Yeah. And there are plant proteins, but I want you guys to understand that it takes, so it's, in order to, I'll talk about muscle building. You need I just had a conversation with a client about this. You need 2.5 grams of leucine per meal to stimulate muscle growth. And leucine, literally in animal products, is like 3-ounce chicken breast, 4-ounce ground beef.
Yeah.
In plant, and that would roughly be, so 3 ounces of chicken breast is what, 180 calories, 210 calories,
maybe
something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas in plant protein, you're having like, I don't remember the exact measurement of like quinoa, or and it's 1,100 calories to get the same amount of the amino acids that you need. Because again, back to education, that is why we need these amino acids in our bodies. Amino acids help to build all of your tissues in your body, and for our case, muscle tissue. So there are plant proteins out there, but yes, animal products. But then also with animal products, being careful, like with the eggs thing, that's something we see all the time. Well, I had 2 eggs.
Oh yeah. That has no protein in it. Cause Michael tried to play that trick on me. He's like, well, I had eggs with it. I'm like, eggs don't have as much as you think.
Yeah. Well, with the yolk.
Yeah.
Egg whites, take the yolk out. The yolk has about 4.5 grams of fat in it, which is what?
9
times
4 is 28. I don't know. What's 18 plus 18?
26.
This is bad. Like, I think it's getting worse.
Hold on. 9 times 9 is 18.
Yeah.
36.
No. Yeah.
8 times 8 is 16.
8 plus 8.
8 plus 8 is 16.
Yeah,
no, sorry.
8 times 8 is 64. I remember that because it's catchy.
Yes.
That's the only.
8 times 8. How is that catchy?
8 times 8 is 60. I don't know.
That would be 68.
Maybe I made it up in 4th grade because in 4th grade we had to do times table things and like
obviously working.
Correct.
For both of us. Yeah. Is it 9? Oh, yeah. 4 times 9 because 9 is at the end 36. Yeah. Okay. That's how I remember it.
See, how does that make any sense?
Because you would only go up to 9 and I would always remember the ends. So we got 27, 36, 42, 48, 56.
I don't know
the next one.
The engineers and math people are like, what the fuck?
These idiots.
Yeah.
Listen.
Okay. Listen, we change bodies and minds, not math.
Yeah. You don't need math for that. So you have more than 36 because you technically have 38 because there's 4.5.
Okay, good.
So 38 calories coming from fat.
Okay.
So just be careful with your animal sources, just to, if we can just keep it clean. Your chicken, fish, tuna, beef, turkey,
bison. I like bison.
Yogurt, cottage cheese. And
I would caution though, watch out for the yogurt though, because I've had clients who get the yogurt and I'm like, and their calories are low or their protein's low, excuse me. And I'm like, what yogurt do you get? And I look and there's like, it says like 3 grams of protein on like the thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, change the yogurt.
Yeah.
Like, cause there's some yogurts like at 10 grams of protein in there. And I'm like, use that one.
Greek yogurt is like what? And I just put cinnamon in it. If you put cinnamon and berries in your Greek yogurt, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Be careful just of that product, the marketing too, guys, of like, oh, but it said it's high protein.
It's not.
Look at the percentages. There's literal percentages on the nutrition label. And it'll say 24% coming from fat, 6% coming from protein.
Right.
Guess what? That's a fat source.
Yep.
Good.
I'm going to drink more water.
Oh, I had this conversation with the client.
Oh, good.
Yesterday.
What happened?
She goes, should I keep, because she did the winter wellness challenge and then she started the program this week. And she goes, should I keep tracking my water? I go, do you need to keep tracking water? She goes, yes. I was like,
then we keep tracking water.
We will do that.
Yeah.
And we started with 4 cups a day. Now, I personally cannot drink water without some sort of something in it.
I just drink so much water.
Just regular ass water.
This is regular ass water right now.
This is
usually I have
water with
in it.
Sweet tea Mio. That's delightful.
Yeah. Or like in the summer, usually I'll make some tea and then I'll do like a half and half.
I use Element as well.
Yeah, I love Element.
I use lemon.
I like cucumber.
Yep, cucumber. I use a straw. Anyways.
So, let's say what the problem is and rather than our solutions.
Yeah.
So the problem is usually I forgot my water bottle or they just like don't stay consistent because they don't like the taste of it. And so I'll say, okay, one, then we need to have strategic water bottles around the house. Or 2, we need to get one of those water bottles that has like the times on it. Sometimes like for whatever reason that works for people. Or 3, habit stack with the water. So you hopefully eat at least 3 meals a day, have a glass of water with each of those meals.
I would say 3 meals, have a glass of water when your coffee's being made and have a glass of water after you brush your teeth at night.
After you brush your teeth?
I don't know. I just threw it out there. It's a habit stack. I always have a big thing of water on my bed because when I wake up at 3 a.m. every morning, I
parched.
Drink. No, it helps me go back to sleep. My wake up and your wake up are different reasons. So anyways.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is just set reminders in your phone too to drink.
I'll do that with clients on their tasks sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. On our app, we can set little tasks and it literally lets us put it down to the minute of when the reminders come to them. But, I kind of love, I don't use another bottle. Yeah.
When's the last time you washed it?
Last week.
Oh, that's good.
I try to wash it once a week.
I don't even think I do that. Michael usually is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
when's the last time you wash it? I'm like, I don't know. He's
Mark
like, I'm gonna wash it.
shamed me about it.
Yeah.
So that I finally started washing it.
Yeah.
We have for our clients, got some new water bottles.
Yay.
Some got water bottles, some got bags. So you can use that. And that actually does make a difference. I don't know why. The straw makes a difference too.
I like the straw.
I love a straw because then I'm like, not like, my teeth.
Well, it sounds so silly that we're saying this, but you have to like literally do what you prefer then too. Like if you're not going to have like the big guggler thing, then get the straw and see if you like that.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, you are trying to reduce your sugar intake. Great goal. I have seen this really be beneficial to clients, but also doing it moderately.
Yeah.
Because what we tend to do is try to cut sugar out and fruit. I hate that shit.
Me too.
You could eat the fruit.
Please
cut sugar out completely.
Yeah.
Right. And a conversation we're going to have in the next couple of episodes, you have this restriction fatigue because you're okay. The cinnamon rolls are there, the donuts are there, or the banana is there, or whatever it is. And you're just like, nope, I can't have that. Nope, I can't have that. Nope, I can't have that. Sugar is in so many things. Sugar is probably in your dressing, in your salad dressing. So you're probably consuming it anyway. And you have the one cookie, right? Finally, because you have that restriction fatigue, you have the one cookie, and then I'm a failure. And now we're literally doubling the amount of sugar we would have had because of this restriction fatigue than if we would have just had a moderate amount of sugar day to day.
And I would say have the moderate amount of sugar day to day. But when you do like in your dressing, you're not going to notice that, right? But like if you tend to like a cookie a day or something like that, or like your chocolates, we're going to eat it slowly, mindfully, think of how it tastes, smells, sounds, feels in our mouth.
Have an intimate relationship with your food.
And that will change your perception of it.
Yes.
And that usually takes care of reducing the sugar because now I'm actually enjoying it when I'm eating it. And I think I've talked about this client before where she was having she's like, I don't know, I can easily eat the whole bag of chocolates at the end of the night. And it wasn't like an emotional response. It was more so of like, I'm not sitting and enjoying them.
Right.
And so the challenge to her was, okay, put the chocolates in a bowl, choose, 5 of them. If you usually have, 3, have 5 available and eat them slowly and mindfully. And then honestly, she ended up only having 2, took care of the problem.
Yep. It totally does. All right. So last one is for the person who has been very rigid with their nutrition. And this year they're like, okay, I need to have a better relationship with food. So I'm going to have a more flexible diet.
Yeah.
This is you.
I know.
And me, honestly. And for someone who's been so rigid, right? One of the major fears is getting off track or off course. Or I'm going to gain weight. What else would you add there?
The lack of control. Like I won't be able to control the situation or manipulate it. And you're not saying like, oh, I can't manipulate the situation, but when you break it down, it's a control thing.
So definitely want to understand. So a common mistake would just give into that, right? We want to understand again and get curious of like, okay, well, what am I trying to control here? What is controlling this food what do I think that it's providing me, even if we're in a short moment, and how can I provide that for myself? Then being able to make small changes to your meals. One of the things I do with my clients is when we are, because we do have clients track food, and we might have them track pretty, I was going to say meticulously, but we're having them track consistently. Right. And then for a lot of them, this is the first time they've lost weight in the way that they did. They've lost weight conservatively. They do create new beliefs about themselves that if I don't do this thing anymore, I'm going to lose everything. So I have them reverse track. You know what that is?
No, I was going to say, and what is that, Christina?
Yes. So
I know what it is, but they don't know what it is.
So I'll have them put everything, like put something on their plate. So chicken breast. And they'll say, okay, this is 3 ounces of chicken breast. And then they will put it on the scale.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's like very elementary in regards to the process of being more flexible, but it helps them gain trust in their knowledge that they've created through their time tracking their food.
Yes. I always like to quit, like when you're with a loved one. Like for me, what helped was going out to dinner with Michael. And so it's like, it's not worth it to worry about. And again, this took a lot of time. I'm really blanket statement this here. of like, it wasn't worth it to try and like, if we go to Dominic's, which is essentially steak 44, to try and figure out, okay, well, did they use like probably 10 grams of butter in the steak? Or like, it just was one of those things of, I'm going to sit here and enjoy it and not try and calculate the calories in my head. And then if I would start to, it's like, what is that bringing up? Why am I doing that right now?
Yeah.
What is that bringing here? And is it worth it? Like, because it's taking away from the conversation when I'm worried about this.
Absolutely.
And so working through that, and then maybe I track afterwards, right? And go, okay, like, oh, it's interesting that I had that much. Okay, great. Wonderful. Or I'd say, I'm not going to track. Like sometimes I would be like, I'm not going to track. I'm not going to track. I'm not going to track. And I wouldn't. And then it gets a couple of days later and you're like, okay, you've moved on from it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And starting, like you're saying, like maybe just one meal a week, right? One day, then that becomes a day. And so a lot of people will start with breakfast.
Yeah. Because it's usually the same.
It's usually the same. And you might be thinking like, that's an easy out. Well, you begin to trust like, okay, I didn't track that. Yes, I did eat similar portions, but again, building trust. Then we move on to lunch and then dinner or whatever that looks like. So rather than, kind of going cold turkey, right? That's only going to, that's more of that all or nothing black and white thinking. We need to titrate out of this rigidity. I do this all the time, especially with clients who have had a history of eating disorder. We don't make big changes at once.
Right.
Because for them, I mean, they have so much anxiety over it. But the beautiful thing is over time, they're eating more, they're moving less, they're feeling better. They're
it's reinforcing that, letting go of the control.
When I make it small for them, they have daily victories.
Yeah.
And
it's nice.
That's nice. So good. Okay. Good. Awesome. Well, those are just a few things. I hope that, for us, those are common mistakes we see. We'd love for you guys to write down what are some of your goals, and then we can comment back on any common mistakes to look out for, just so that you feel, we want you to be successful. So if you like this podcast, please share it with 5 of your friends and have them all rate and review it and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Mindset and Matter Coaching, fit by Amanda.az, and YouTube at The Mindset Mirror Connection. And with any goal, with any change in your life, we want to make sure that you remember this one last thing.
What you say in the mind,
you see in the mirror.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.